Alright, what you see here is a new fan that has been shown on the channel many times throughout the years. This is an Envirofan GoldLine industrial ceiling fan in 56 inches. This is the fan that has been shown way back in 2013. It used to be installed at a cell phone store. I think it was Metro PCS originally, and then became vacant. Then it turned to a toy store, and now it's in my possession. This was installed there along with a Hampton Bay Industrial that replaced one of these. I did not see the second GoldLine ever. I only saw this in the Hampton Bay. The only reason why I know there was a second GoldLine because the Hampton Bay had the canopy to a GoldLine. So, yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the place ever since it became vacant again. And I called the number a few times, no answer. Then I know someone had moved in. Turns out the person that was renting the place was actually a neighbor that was in the same building as me. So me and him kept in touch. He told me that he couldn't take the fan down because it's not his, it's the landlord's, so I had to ask him. Recently he moved out of there, and I happened to notice some people inside, and I figured maybe it could have been a landlord, so I went in and asked him if I could buy the fan off him along with the Hampton Bay one, and he agreed, so yeah, that's how I got the fan. I will do a separate video about the Hampton Bay one as well, but I think I just mentioned I did get both of them. The guy actually uninstalled them himself, so that made it a little bit easier for me. And as you can see, this fan does have a cord, so it was hooked up with the plug. The fan has been there for quite some time. It's from 1981 and such. I remember first seeing these fans back in 2009. I remember it was vacant at the time when I first saw it. It wasn't until 2010 or 2011 that I got to see this fan up close. The Hampton Bay one, I was able to see that at the time because there wasn't a wall that divided the space. When I showed the Hampton Bay one more recently, I showed it through a door frame that was like whenever the phone place moved in, they put a wall to divide it just so they could have like a back room of sorts for the employees if they went on break and such. So that's why I never was able to show it on the channel all these years up until recently. But this one I've shown quite a bit, and I always wanted to get them or at least get videos of them and such. And over the years, you guys have seen me do different videos about this fan. I think this is actually the first fan I did a Greatest Hits remake of, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, yeah, I think this is the first fan I did a Greatest Hits remake of, so it is kind of a coincidence that I actually got the fan that started that series. But yeah, it's in pretty good shape. It's definitely seen some use over the years. I found out that these blades have actually been painted over. That's why they look so unshiny. And you might be noticing there's a little bit of copper on it. That's because the bottom of the motor was painted copper by the guy that was just renting it. He didn't know that I was interested in the fans at the time and such, so I think he stopped painting them for that reason. But yeah, you guys can recognize that swirl that was on the bottom of it. The other fan has some sort of a blue mark on the bottom too, so I'm guessing had to have been some kid in the past that must have done it, or somebody. But yeah, there's still some copper-ish on the blades. I am going to be repainting the blades because they definitely do need some touch-up, or I might leave them alone, I'm not sure. The fan had copper on it, but I was able to scratch that off of a metal sponge of sorts, as it was very white coat of spray paint, so I was able to get it off pretty good. Some parts there that still showed a little bit, but I don't want to scratch it up and all that fun stuff, and I want to leave it as original as I can, so yeah. There's a tag, a sticker. Turns out there's a balloon string that got caught in it, so that does explain why when I tested it a while ago on each speed back in either 2017 or 2018, that the high speed wasn't super fast. I mean, it had a good high speed, but it definitely went slower than what these normally can go. So that explains why it did not go as fast as it should have. So I will have to take a look into that. Yeah, there's the from what I know, the place used to be a flower shop. That and such. Yeah, I don't know how long that flower shop was out of business for. I don't remember seeing these before 2009. It was only until after like it was vacant and I guess they opened. It must have been sealed off like with paper on the walls. I didn't see it because I know for a fact if it was open at the time, that business that was there, I would have noticed it because I drive by there all the time. This was actually right across the street from where the Harbor Breezeway was at that old bakery. That's now a barber shop. And 2 businesses down the street is where the diner that I go to a lot as a kid that had the hand-to-pay quick connects that were replaced by the make air contractors. So before the quick connects, there were those home trend fans. So then much more down the street is the roast beef place with the hand-to-pay industrial. And then further down the street was where the Neutral and Pro line was. So I've gotten quite a few fans out of that street. The ones I did not get, sadly, is the other GoldLine now is right next to this that was replaced by a HDC Murray ceiling fan. And that's actually gone now too. And then the can-arm tap fans that were at the gravestone pressing place. And the fans that were at the car wash. Neutral decorator, the Hampton Make Gazebo, and the Rusted Dayton. So I've gotten almost all the fans out of that area that I filmed many years ago. And this one's probably the one I'm most glad to get. Possibly, like in terms of collector value wise. The other ones are a little bit more sentimental to me. The Hampton Make Quick Connects and the Harbor Breezeway because I saw those a lot more as a kid. And this one I discovered later on, so yeah. But it's one that I'm glad to have, and it's an 80s GoldLine. It looks almost identical to the ones they sell today, except for the plunger canopy. The blades have the Christmas tree look on the back, as Metal Pete likes to say. And it has a much larger motor than the ones they have nowadays. It does have quite a bit of weight to it as well. Yeah, this was on a J-hook along with the other one. And I'm just really glad that I've gotten it. Even though I had to pay for it. I was offering him other stuff to put in place, but he said just that he would just leave them as is with the J-hook exposed and such on both of them. I could touch up the bottom, but I'm kind of tempted not to. Just to leave it the way I remember seeing it. The blades, I'm not sure if I want to touch up. I might leave them alone. I might repaint it because they are... It was definitely painted cheaply at some point in its life. I'm not sure if the blades were dirty looking and maybe that's why they painted them. That could be the case because the motor itself looks fine, but I don't know if the fan blades got discolored over time. And it's always a possibility. The top definitely needs a good cleaning. But yeah, the fan runs. Honestly, as I've shown it running before in the past, and before they took it down, I know it ran, and I plugged it in too, so yeah. So yeah, I got this, I bought it off of him, he took it down for me, along with the other fan that was there. Yeah, it's just a little bit more of that carpet. I'm glad that the fan wasn't painted over completely, because that would not have been a fun time in terms of removing the copper paint. But it was just on the pointy area all of this basically. But yeah, I'm very happy to have this. It's probably my favorite score so far this year. I got this one this year. It's not a backlog video. This is actually a recent acquisition. So yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos to come.